Hello, my name is Ethan, and today we are going to be talking about another monthly book challenge episode. For this month, I chose Saga, written by Brian K. Vaughan, and illustrated by Fiona Staples. This was an amazing read for me. I really enjoyed it a lot. The story follows Alana and Marco, who are two almost Romeo and Juliet-esque lovers, two lovers from opposite sides of a war between a planet and a moon. And it's just an amazing story of this deep love for these two, like that these two characters have for each other. And I just really enjoyed it. It kicks off right away with the birth of their child Hazel, and the story is illustrated by their daughter pretty much the entire time. And it was really an interesting seeing that narration. I'll get into it later, but it was really cool just seeing these two characters and their journey. It's after the birth of their daughter, it's kind of this journey that these two take to try and find a home that they can raise their family in. And it's just amazing seeing these two get through it all. But not only them just going through this journey, but also facing many problems along the way with the opposing sides. Just obviously, I talked before how it was a very Romeo and Juliet relationship, and how these two opposing sides really hate this relationship, and it puts them even at death, threats of death in their case, and they have to fight against bounty hunters that are trying to kill them. And it was just such a action-packed story to read. It takes place in this Star Wars sort of this Star Wars aesthetic sort of intergalactic space war, but there was also so much more, as there was a lot of magic in there as well. The guy Marco, his whole species has they're magic users, so I thought it was fun watching him and that his species interact with that, and it was really cool to read and see that. I thought it was so good. There was just so many things I liked about it. Like I said, I can't get enough about how this relationship dynamic worked between these two, because it was just so much to watch them all both together, and how they overcame every situation. But it's not only that, but it's also the relationship with their daughter, as they both have this immense love for their daughter. And I think it's a crazy thing how the narrator of this story is their daughter, who I'm assuming is narrating in the future. But I think it's just so much more special having the daughter narrate it, because the daughter still lived through this entire moments that are going on in the story, but there's such a deeper connection to the story with the daughter because her parents are the ones who lived through it. And I think that just adds so much more depth to it, having to almost relive and retell everything that happened, not just in her life, but in her parents' life. And it was just so fun to read. And I wouldn't say there was any weakness at all. I just wish I could keep reading more. And I want to, actually. There's multiple issues of this series, and I just want to keep reading all of them to see what happens next. But it was so good. I really liked this graphic novel. I mean, going into it, I had nothing to expect, or I didn't know what to expect. I was completely blind. I knew it was gonna be a love story, because that's the topic I chose for the month of February, was love, and this was the first option I saw. So I knew that it was going to have some sort of love element to it, but the love that these two had was so fun to watch, as they just had a really deep care for each other, and it was just so great watching them both interact with each other, and just their reactions to everything was so good. I will say this though, going into it, I still did not know what to expect, and I will say that this graphic novel is meant for people who have a mature idea of love. That's what I think it is. Because there's the book is not meant for younger audiences, I can tell, but I really enjoyed reading it, and I wouldn't even call myself that mature, but I think it does have very mature levels to it, and I think it takes a lot of maturity to read this book and have this connection with it. And so I felt a really deep connection to this book and a really interesting understanding of it. Overall, it was an amazing read and I really enjoyed it. And I would recommend it to not only people who have this love for fantasy and science fiction, but as well as people who just have a deep love for love and like have a deep connection with it. So again, 10 out of 10, would recommend it to everyone. And it was just an amazing read and I really enjoyed it. But thank you again for tuning in for the month of February, and the next episode will be for the month of March. Thank you.